For USCFootball.com, I'm Shotgun Spratling here with the illustrious Dan Weber after an unfortunate 34-32 Illinois win over USC. Homecoming victory for the Illini. They stormed the field. I know it feels very familiar to me, having all the fans kind of surround it and storm the field. Dan, what are your first initial thoughts after watching that one?
Well, my initial thoughts are, having been on fields where you get them swarming the field, that's a dangerous place to be when they're coming out of the stand. They weren't quite as fired up as, say, some of the places where USC's inspired field storming. But by the way, is it over yet? I think it was going on 4 hours there, and I think a lot of them just wanted to get out of the sun. But talk about time and is it over yet? When USC went ahead, I think we all in the press box looked up and saw 1:55 left on the scoreboard, and with a 1-point lead, and you shake your head and said, can they hold them for a minute and 55? And they couldn't. Could they? Maybe if they could have. I had one thought: why not have the defense open it up really wide, give the running back a giant lane to run through, and have Eric Gentry try to punch the ball loose from behind? I mean, that was kind of their only chance at this point. They gave up 502 yards. I mean, you can't think you deserve to win and you give up 502 yards to that team.
Yeah, this is a team that they got destroyed last week by Indiana. USC comes in. It was a different Illinois team, I think. USC's down by 14, so I guess let's start in the fourth quarter. Down by 14, they rally to take the lead. They go for two on the first touchdown. Both touchdowns to Mekhi Lemon. He was fantastic again this game. Had 141 yards, I believe, on 11 catches, 2 touchdowns, and had a 75-yard touchdown pulled off the board, so he would have had over 200 yards. He was a shining star once again, Biletnikoff favorite, I would say. But they take the lead, as you said, with 1:55 remaining. USC's, I believe, on the 16, 19-yard line, somewhere right there, right in front of the 20, at the 2-minute timeout. Right. And they decide on first down to make a read. Jaden Maeva reads the defense and has one-on-one coverage for Mekhi Lemon, throws it out to Lemon. Lemon makes a great grab, touchdown. Was that the right move? Lincoln Riley, after the game, said that he's seen too many times where coaches have been hesitant or been conservative and it not worked out. So he said you just got to score when you got to score when you're down by 5 versus being down by, only needing a field goal. I
agree with that basically, except I'm not second guessing here because, for example, the only second guess I've got is against Illinois, where I think I would start tackling Mekhi at the line of scrimmage and take the penalty rather than let him go out and catch the ball. He's unbelievable. He's beyond unbelievable now. He's doing things that we've, with all the great receivers, he's doing stuff we've never seen. I don't know how he made that final touchdown catch, but you gotta trust your defense sometime. But is there a reason to trust his defense? We kept saying the schedule steps up, and it gives them a chance to get better. This week. They're not getting better, and the opponents are getting better. Not a lot. I think Illinois is one of the weaker top 10 teams in modern college football history. They're really not that good, but they were mad. They got a bunch of veteran guys. They were playing at home, homecoming, and they took it to USC. They were not going to let USC win the game unless USC really won the game, and USC couldn't step up and win the game.
Yeah, it felt like early in this game, especially the Illinois offensive line was trying to punish USC, on top of the pile, trying to do all the dirty, nasty things. Not dirty, but all the nasty things to show that
taking
emphasis.
It even a little past the whistle, maybe, and hoping maybe somebody would take a swing at him.
Which happened eventually.
Which happened.
So there was definitely that. There was a lot of that going on throughout the game. I think that was kind of a mission for them today. Is hey, after you come out last week and get beat the way you did, to come out and show some fire, and they did. Yeah. And they were helped out by a couple of USC turnovers, especially the early one. USC gets the ball to start the game, and Waymon Jordan on his on the opening drive has the ball pop out. and that kind of turned the tide a little bit of the momentum and allowed Illinois, I felt like, to get some momentum early and kind of bounce back from that game last week and kind of put that behind them versus going down 7-0 immediately and then kind of feeling like, oh, is this going to happen again?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think USC has to take advantage, getting the ball first and being able to run it, and you got to run it in and score and quiet everybody down. I mean, and this was not a loud crowd much of the way, but the more mistakes, the more penalties USC made, the more they kept, keeping Illinois in the game. They actually got into the game, even though you had, those couple of balls popped into the end zone or at the goal line, and they didn't score. I mean, what would the score have been if they'd have scored those 2 times? So I know, Lincoln said he really likes this team, and this is a team, that he can really work with, and they got to clean some things up. They got to clean a lot of stuff up.
Yeah, the pass rush has been one of their big things, big advantages so far this season. Illinois coming off a game where they'd given up 7 sacks. They were tied for the nation lead in sacks allowed. I think USC had 1, maybe 2 in this game that just did not create the pressure. I asked Lincoln Riley about it after the game, and he said that it's got to be better. He said they did some RPO stuff. He said he's got to watch the tape a little bit to see how they did it. They negated it a little bit with some quick passing a lot early in the game, I thought, and then USC just wasn't getting the pressure that they've been consistently getting, and then you put a lot of pressure on the defensive on the secondary, which was beat up. DeCarlos Nicholson, their best cover corner, was in and out of the lineup with a hamstring issue. Kamari Ramsey, their star safety, who's been playing a lot of nickel because of injuries, was not available today. He had food poisoning. We're told it was overnight that he got food poisoning. Lincoln Riley said he was notified at 6 a.m., so they didn't have time to prepare for it. So that definitely played into it. Initially, they started the game and had Kevin Longstreet, the walk-on, at playing nickel, and then you got him going against Hank Beatty, who is Illinois' best receiver, and they were winning that matchup. So they brought in freshman Kendarius Reddick. I thought he did a pretty good job there, but the fact that you were constantly having to rotate your corners as well. Braylon Connolly created the first fumble right before halftime, which was a huge play, huge momentum swing, because it was about to be 21-7 and Illinois getting the ball back after the half. Instead, USC is able to get points off of that, but he gets beat a couple times late in the game. So, just a secondary that has taken some blows. Christian Pierce was in and out of the game. What did you make of the secondary? Ragtag bunch right now, but just not doing enough to slow things down.
Yeah, I think the secondary is who we thought they were, unfortunately. USC's kind of evened things up with a pass rush with 16 sacks in the first 4 games. My feeling is that a reflection strictly of USC's superior athleticism over the first 4 opponents? And is it going to be negated now that they're playing teams that are about as athletic as USC, or, decently athletic teams, Michigan and Notre Dame and people like that? And does that wipe out the pass rush? If that's the case, USC's in a world of hurt, I think, defensively. They've got to figure something out. They've got to figure out, you can't have corners just stand there and let people catch the ball in front of you. And you can't have the kind of bus. You can't have the kind of bus where there's no contain on the quarterback run. They actually had Altmaier actually ran for a touchdown, threw for a touchdown, and caught a touchdown pass. Like, when was the last? I know they said maybe when that happened. I don't know. Did Red Grange do it? Come on, you can't do that. You just cannot do that. And this defense just keeps doing it.
Yeah, Altmaier obviously being a veteran quarterback, if you don't rush him, you don't get him off his spot, he's going to be able to pick you apart a little bit, and that's what seemed to be the case today. But even that, USC wasn't able to stop the run either. They weren't able to stop the run, they weren't able to stop the pass, and that's how you give up the 500 yards. Last week, Indiana held this team to 2 rushing yards total.
This is a team that can't run the ball. If you talk to them, they'll tell you, we can't run the ball. And they were able to run the ball. They were able to run out of tackles. They were able to push. I thought at the end, one of the worst things that you saw happening on that last drive is they just were taking USC's D-line and pushing them down the field. They were getting no penetration at all and just line it up and head on head and just knocking them down the field. There's so many things that have to happen with this defense. I think this offense keeps you in most games. I doubt, looking at the schedule, there's anybody that the offense can't kind of compete with. But they got to do some things. You got to be able to run the ball more consistently than they did today. You got to stop the run, and you can't give them those quick, quick little cuts in front of the corners, and you can't have a bust or two or three. I think one of the things that's amazing to me, if they kept stats on teams who have allowed or had run the most trick plays against them this year, it has to be USC. We're seeing plays we've never seen before. How many double passes has USC seen? They got a roughing the passer on a wide receiver. I'm not even sure can you rough a wide receiver? I don't even know what that rule is. I'm not sure about the final pass interference either. The USC kid was actually in front. One of those. Not that many calls were going to go USC's way on homecoming here, but I thought that was a pretty good play.
Yeah, DJ Harvey comes in on that drive. It might have been the first time we saw him all game, and was right with the wide receiver, but they throw the flag there. Gives an extra 15 yards. Illinois is able to get down into field goal range and kick the field goal. On the other side, USC's offensive line was playing without Elijah Page. Once again, he left last week's game. He went through some early warm-ups and then was not able to go through the later warm-ups with full pads or anything. How did you taking a look at the offensive line from the press box, what did you think of the offensive line? Jaden Maeva seemed to be under a little bit more pressure today than he had been. And then USC loses Killian O'Connor, their starting center, who's been the guy that kind of has directed everything, the former walk-on that, it seemed like, and then a couple plays later, you get the ineligible man downfield, who is John Reed filling in for him, who was not really blocking anybody on that play.
No.
He
was just standing there.
Which pulled off the 75-yard touchdown, which USC had the trick play where they put Jaden Maeva out at wide receiver, ran the ball towards the right side, and then tossed it to him, and he throws it to Mekhi Lemon. He's not even near the play, and yet you get an ineligible man downfield. That was a huge penalty for USC, and kind of the one that kind of exemplifies this team. Sometimes just penalties that don't need to be made, and it hurts USC in a big way right there. But just overall,
my guess on a trick play like that, if you're the backup center, you've probably not ever run that play in practice.
Valid point.
You've been watching them run it, but there's not much time to run any trick plays more than once or so. So, he was just like waiting for a bus. He was just sort of standing there kind of watching. It just, this is difficult. I think this team has got so many issues on defense. They have to be able, I think, to run the ball more consistently so the other team doesn't have time to put up 502 yards. The problem is, I think Illinois went to school on what Purdue did against the run game 2 weeks ago, and I thought their linebackers seemed to be kind of waiting to see where the play was going to develop, and because they're kind of slow developing plays, and USC normally gets the benefit of people trying to get to the quarterback or whatever. But if you station your linebackers where they can see where the ball's going, I thought they did a good job of getting to the spot before the USC ball carrier got there. And I think you're going to see more of that. Obviously the Big Ten teams are going to look at one another and what's working against this USC team. And without the USC's ability to stop people, it makes life real difficult for the USC offense.
Yeah, Mekhi Lemon was spectacular, like we said, was able to get open kind of anywhere. Jacoby Lane wasn't supposed to play, did play some. Initially, was just being used as a decoy, basically, in the red zone right before halftime, and then a little bit later But they weren't guarding him, so they started tossing the ball out to the outside and letting him kind of run out of bounds a couple times. He had a big third down catch. He was spectacular in the little bit of time that we saw him out there. But this team has to get healthier right now. They have a bye week coming up. What's the biggest thing that this team has to do to rebound from this game going into a bye week with Michigan coming to the Coliseum in 2 weeks?
I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of little things. Like, for example, you talk about the red zone. What if instead of having to kick a field goal at the end of the first half, they would have gotten a touchdown? I mean, they had a couple of plays that didn't do anything. Then they had to kick the field goal. Well, they get a touchdown there. This changes everything. Get 4 more points. What does that make the score? And there are a lot of little things. And then there's some really big stuff on defense. Do they have enough guys that can play defense at this level? I don't know. They don't defend many passes. I mean, I was trying to look that up last week, and they're way. They're not as far down as they are in penalties in passes defended, but they don't defend many passes, and because they're not in the neighborhood. I mean, there's, so they got to be able to start being in the neighborhood at least in defending passes. But the bye is coming at the right time. And getting Michigan at home. What do you think Michigan's going to try to do? You think Michigan's try to bully them?
Yeah, definitely we'll see the run game there from Michigan. We'll see how USC bounces back from this. One, they will be able to get healthier over the bye week. That'll help out some there. But they have to reassess. A lot of small things, as Dan said, a lot of attention to detail. The things they talked about, they thought they had kind of sewed up a little bit in the offseason. Still seeing that, still seeing the penalties, still seeing a lot of similar penalties as well, I think is a big issue, more than just penalties themselves. So a lot of things that need to be corrected over this next week if USC wants to bounce back from this. Hey, Illinois bounced back from a 53-point loss. Can USC now bounce back from this loss on the road? A 2-point loss will not end their season. Still have everything in front of them that they can play for, but you got to start cleaning all those small things up. They can't be continuous for them.
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois to start the year last year, and that was a way worse loss than this one. However, Notre Dame, physical, tough, and they went out and made you earn it against them. USC doesn't make you earn it. They give you a lot of stuff. You got to make people earn it. These teams at this level, they may not be great, but they're too good to give them anything. If you give them open completions, if you give them, quarterback draws, or you give them quarterback running into the end zone with nobody. I mean, both of his scores, Altmaier, how far open was it? I mean, there wasn't anybody. You couldn't have thrown if you were a UC defender, you couldn't have thrown a rock and hit him on the touchdown catch or the run. He was like, where did he go? Come on. That can't happen.
So a lot to clean up. Obviously, USC loses here at Illinois 34-32 on a last-second field goal. Similar to last year on the road, USC's defense had a chance in the fourth quarter to lock up the win and was unable to do it. But that's going to wrap it up for me, Shotgun Spratling, and the illustrious Dan Weber. For more, check out uscfootball.com.